Main event.
Hey, I want to get this guy his flowers, man.
Got to.
I did last week.
He brought the he brought the energy back to the heavyweight divisions for Americans.
Yeah.
Big knockout power. For some people, he's their Tyson.
Yeah.
He slept people. He did it for the right reasons, man. I think at the end of the day, it came down to taking care of his daughter, man. I always remember this guy, and maybe I'm not sure if I'm talking about the right person, but I think I am. Driving Coca-Cola trucks.
That's him.
And fighting.
Yeah.
I said, man, this guy really wants it.
Yeah.
And man, shout out to Deontay Wilder, man. You lived a dream.
Yeah.
Didn't have all the he wasn't the greatest boxer. But he had a hell of a right hand.
Yeah, one of the great
hell
punchers.
of a right hand. Yeah. And didn't do it the way common boxers did it, but he got all the way to the top, held the title for 5 years, defended it multiple times.
10 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was kind of his thing in the amateurs, to your
Right
point.
hand?
No, his thing in the amateurs, I'm here for my daughter.
Yeah.
His thing was, and he had a plan. Mm-hmm. And ain't too many people that I know in my life personally. I know that I'm one of them. I've always had plans or a plan, and it carried through, and I saw it to its finish. He always talks about manifesting things. That's something he always talked about in the amateurs. I'm here for my daughter.
And what I
He
like
wasn't about the BS, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What I like about that is, people always say do it for a real reason, like your family. If you do it just to win the world champion, you need to win the world champion. It's like the hunger's there. When you do it just for the money, then once you get the money, but he kept doing it for his family.
Yeah.
For the most part, Wilder gave everything he had for the sport.
Oh, he did. No, he did.
100%.
We seen Wilder at his highs and at his lowest, and hey man, we gotta thank that man. That man really brought the energy back to the heavyweight division and made it interesting again, because we really was off the heavyweight divisions. The UK guys was running that thing.
I ain't know nothing about the heavyweight division.
Not only were the Klitschko brothers dominating, they didn't have good competition.
Yeah.
They had to fight, flabby, shorter guys. And then Wilder and AJ came around at the same time. Yep. They're these two chiseled athletes, and it's like, okay, now this looks like the heavyweight division. I remember a little bit taller than the heavyweight division, I remember, but now athletes that can punch hard. And go ahead, Shawn.
When I saw him get hit with that punch and I seen him turn around, that joint, that hurt my heart, because I knew that was it. When he got hit and turned the way he turned, and then,
what was that?
And then he tried to did he try to signal to the ref or something along those lines?
Yeah.
He tried to say something, and I just knew. I was like, that's it. And then when he went down, I was like, damn, he not getting up. I was sad.
He got up?
Yeah, but I mean, he got up, and I was glad that the ref waved it off.
Did Wilder? I mean, he lost. Tyson took a lot out of him. He took a lot.
They took a
out
lot
of
of
Tyson.
each other. Yeah.
Yes. The killer instinct, did it start to fall away? Fall off?
He won a handful of rounds.
But he's not a boxer. Go in for the kill.
But the funny thing is, he had a fighter in front of him that just waits. I don't know why Zhang waits the way that he does, but he could have continued to do what he did instead of pushing the envelope and being close the way that he was to Zhang, and they probably could have got out of there, squeaked out of there with a win.
I thought Deontay got back to what he did best, though. I felt like him and Malik kind of took it back to what he was years ago, which is just paw with the left hand. Yeah. Every now and then, throw a little left hook, just enough to keep him honest on this side. And the whole time, we're just waiting for the right moment to let this go. Yeah. And he did, and he landed it in the fifth.
Let it go.
And tried to follow it up, and then he got caught about 30, 40 seconds later. Beautiful counter by Zhang.
Yeah.
Like a risky counter. Zhang had to make his mind up in that moment. Like, I got to fight him. Because he's starting to turn this into a Deontay Wilder fight. Slow it down to a snail's pace, paw with the left hand, make him follow me around the ring, and I'm going to get you. And Zhang was like, if I keep playing this game, he's going to land that right hand again. Let me let it go.
You think he had that thought process?
I don't know if he did, but that's what. And actually, to look forward to Tank and Frank. Frank
We're not gonna do that today.
Just
give us a little.
Leave your notes in your pocket.
Give us something.
Frank may have to make a similar decision in the heat of that fight, in the middle of that fight, because Tank picks his moment multiple times in the middle of the fight, in the back end of the fight, to let him rip. Okay, now I got the distance, now I got the timing. You're a little tired. You were shooting your shots earlier on. Now I'm gonna rip. And in that moment, unless you can come up with a whole bunch of defensive maneuvers and answers, you may have to exchange with him to get him off of you. Or else he's going to start ripping and you're going to try and get out of the way of everything and he's going to catch you with some of them because he's fat. So kind of like Zhang did with Wilder, Frank Martin, like next weekend, he might have to pick that counter shot in the middle of...
Be something big.
Yeah, or else you're not going to get him off of you. He's going to keep coming. But.
Shout out real quick to DeMarcus Hills. I want to say shout out to him real quick. He just threw a little likes up real quick.
Do you think he did? Do you think that's what he thought? Let me catch him between punches now that he thinks he's got me reeling a little bit, now that he's opening up.
That's kind of the adjustment you would make. So,
But it takes balls to do that, right?
It has to either been something that came from the corner or something that he ended up doing ultimately in that moment. I hated to see it. And, to your point, I'm going to mimic it as well, man. Just want to give Deontay his flowers. I don't think he's made an official announcement that he's retiring yet, but what else do you have to do? But, getting there and even in wins, still possibly get hit and suffer some damage, Mm-hmm. So I'd rather see him just go on and live his life. And, hopefully he's done all the right things outside of the ring so that he can, manage things for himself. And just live that life down there in Alabama.
Tuscaloosa.
Because
the punch resistance is one of the things that first goes away from wars, right? And I think you see that with him and Fury.
Yep.
And now there's some people trying to say him and Fury were never that good. And it's like, no, that trilogy is going to stand the test of time in the pantheon of heavyweight trilogies. That third fight was maybe the greatest fight in the 21st century in the heavyweight division in terms of just action and then the flowers I'd want to give to Deontay, because I mentioned him last week with Shavers and Lyle, David Tua. These are guys who may not have been great overall heavyweights, but were great punchers. And boxing still carved out a place for them in history to remember them for their power. And Shavers actually, I found out, did get into the Hall of Fame. And so Wilder may very well get into the Hall of Fame too, because Shavers is in, he set that precedent. And really the credit I'd want to give Deontay for is who he is as a man. Because one thing I loved about dealing with him over the years was he's a warm extrovert. Like that's his natural temperament. It's not an act. A lot of people, when they get to a level of fame, I may feel this way if it ever happened with me, is you start to get annoyed by everybody coming up to you, everybody wanting a piece of you. He embraced that. And I think that's a really good look for a guy who's heavyweight champion. Muhammad Ali was like that. And, Fury, he's hot. On his good days, he's like that. On his good days, he's got both. But that's what I think I'll appreciate the most from him is he always, every time I saw someone come up to him for an autograph, he did it. A picture, he did it. An interview, he did it. Even when he said, I'm not talking to media for the third Fury Wilder fight, I laughed. I bet you I go up to him. And if I kindly say, hey, D, can I bet you, and he did, because he's just a nice, kind person. I know I guess you guys may have had a moment or two over over boxing, over opinions about boxing, but he's that's what I'll praise him the most for is just a natural extrovert.
Absolutely.
As a heavyweight champ. Yeah.
One of the best guys in boxing to be around.